place. You mentioned being a workaholic. Is there a particular career goal that you are looking to meet, or are you the type of person that it's never enough, and as soon as you do open up your own storefront, then that's not enough, and then you have your $1 million a year and that's not enough? Like, is there a particular goal in mind? I would highly recommend you create it.
No, I'm definitely the latter. I'm a Leo and a Jamaican girl, so it's never enough. I'm always chasing the next thing. But I do realize, like you said, that's my thought process also. Like, all those 5 whatever things means like that's a few years before we even get to the end goal. So we definitely have to get started sooner than later.
Yes. And I just want to say the end goal is always a happy, fulfilling relationship / marriage. That's always the end goal, not the wedding, not the engagement ring, right? Not the baby, not the pregnancy, but a loving, fulfilling marriage relationship. So that's the end goal, but you do need to begin. So this is what I would also consider. You didn't talk too much about children, more about the pressures of the children, but not necessarily your desire to be a mom. You may want to also...
Sorry to cut you off. I definitely do want children. The reason I'm not in a rush is prior to my current career, I have a long history of a career in childcare. So I'm very well aware of what it takes. I'm very well aware of the cost associated, the time, the effort. And that's honestly why I work so hard now, because I want to set myself up for when I get there. But it's way more important for me to have children with the right person into a financially stable, emotionally stable, mentally stable household versus just having them by whatever age.
Yes, and I'm glad that you said that. So that's what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that you may want to spend your time now by vetting, and we're going to talk about that next, vetting the right match for you, living life as you both see fit. Right? You're traveling, you're working hard, and then perhaps you're putting off, and maybe you decide to have one child, but it's in the environment that you desire. As we said, the committed relationship, potentially marriage that's fulfilling and happy, that you've traveled for the most part to many of the places you choose to travel, that you've met at least some of your career goals, that you feel fulfilled in that area, and then putting off. So then that way is the best of both worlds, but we don't want to put off for too long.
Right.
Okay, so now let's talk about vetting this guy. Again, one of the most important things that you mentioned is the lifestyle. You want to maintain your lifestyle as closely as possible as you are now, within respect and reason, right? So talk to me more about some of the non-negotiables. What are the musts? Not preferences, not I would like him to be. What are the musts he has to be that you have?
I would say he has to be God-fearing. I feel like if you are, we could kind of get through anything. I have to have someone that's equally as goal-oriented as myself. Family-driven is very important as well. It probably sounds shallow, but a passport is really important. I feel like when you travel, you experience other cultures. That kind of builds you as a person as a whole. And I think someone just like a good communicator, someone easygoing. I jokingly say like the guy version of myself, but I'm not super picky, but I do like I feel like that's the bare minimum. To other people, it may not sound like it, but I feel like the bare minimum, like God, family, career, who wants to like be a husband, wants to be a father, and just kind of has a lot of the same goals and interests that I do.
So I'll say almost everything you said is the bare minimum.
Right.
I'm going to push back on the passport, but not in a scary way. Okay. What I would say is that sometimes people may not have things in place, but the non-negotiables are like breakup worthy, meaning I would meet this person and they don't have it. I'm no longer communicating with them. You can get a passport in 7 weeks.
Right.
So to end things, to cut someone off, to no longer speak to them, to no longer engage, not one more text, not one more call, not one more date off of something that can be rectified in 7 weeks, to me would be unreasonable.
That's fair.
Someone gaining a new religion in 7 weeks, that ain't happening, right? Like you want them to have the same religious identity. Someone desiring to be a father and a husband, I would not push back on. I agree with you. Someone being a solid communicator, I'm not a proponent of teaching someone how to communicate in their 30s, right? The passport, they can easily apply, spend $185. They could book an international flight and go to the passport office and get a passport the same day. So, and there may be a good reason. I know you mentioned you're of Caribbean descent, so am I. Maybe they just got their we don't know, right? So that part is, do they have a desire to travel? Do they enjoy different cultures and experiences, right? That is the one thing that I would reword for your non-negotiables, because getting the document is easy. Easy peasy chicken greasy.
Okay. That's
okay,
fair.
and whatever their reasoning, whatever it may be, they were entrenched in their studies. They come from a background where they couldn't afford to travel, and so now they're working so hard. They're working 60-hour weeks at their law firm. They're not in a position to travel, so why are they pressed to get the passport? Now they have you. They have the expendable income. You're saying, baby, let's go next week. And they're like, all right, I'll go get my passport. That's an easy fix, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I will say, like I said, the other ones are reasonable. I don't think that you're asking for too much, but you did not mention looks. Now, I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
Shallow on camera. Looks
this is the single season. We're trying to get you through these waters that could potentially be treacherous, and we're the ones who's causing the treachery. So talk to me. What are the musts?
The must looks. I mean, I definitely need someone that's easy to look at for sure. I'm definitely a visual person. I feel like everything else could kind of be talked, but I think like hygiene is important. Like just pride in your appearance is important to me. I obviously would prefer someone well dressed.